What's good, YouTube? So much is about to happen to our game. There's a brand new field and layout, a new check to the Pendulum Mechanic, and the brand new mechanic is announced. Oh my gosh, there is so much happening. I cannot believe they fully checked the Pendulum Mechanic. So, they moved the Pendulum Zones to the back row, and you can place normal spell and traps there, but if you want to use Pendulum cards, you actually have to place them in your back row. That is insane. This is awesome. Oh my gosh. So let's go ahead and take a look at everything happening, all the rule changes. Let's go ahead and decipher. This is all from the organization. The new mechanic, and let's take a first look. If I were blue, oh man. So ritual monsters are also blue, but there's some defining differences. First, there's no levels. Second, there's no defense on these cards. There's only a link. And third, there's actually two ways to summon these monsters. So it's all very interesting, and they have a brand new zone that's going to apply to themselves that we will get into here. Wow. Oh man, there's so much happening all at once. But let's go ahead and decipher it the best we can with the organization's help here. Oh man, so this is the Code Talker, and as you might have actually noticed here, 2300. We have an ace monster that is not a 2500, and we have a brand new type of monster, Dark Cyber type Link Effect monster. So we've got a brand new type coming. Oh man, they're just throwing the entire change at us. Link 3, attack 2300, materials 2 or more effect monsters. First effect, this card gains 500 attack for each monster linked to it. So it goes up to 28 then 33. When an opponent's when an opponent's card effect that targets a card you control is activated, you contribute one of your monsters linked to that card, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. Further information. Look at those distinctive link markers. Use the markers to develop brand new strategies. It goes into your extra deck. So it sounds like the same extra deck so far. There are two ways of link summoning. Send materials to the grave equal to the link number. Second one, so that would be 3 links even though it said 2 or more. You can link summon something from your extra deck by sending the same number of monsters that meet the material requirements written in the card's effect box, whose total numbers equal to the link number from the field to the graveyard. So it's like if you have a link 3, I guess, a link 1 and link 2. Decrease materials by using link monsters. Link monsters are treated as the same number of materials as its link number. However, to use them, you must match the requirements written on the card. In case of the Code Talker, you can either use 3 effect monsters or use 1 link and 2 effect monsters and 1 effect monster. A link 2 effect monster and 1 effect monster. Okay, so like if it's a 2 link, and then you can still use any effect monster, period. Very versatile. Pay attention to the direction of the link markers. The zones pointed to by each marker and the cards in them will be affected by the link monster, and this will create new strategies. They also have no defense. This is to note, link monsters have no defense points and have special characteristics of being unable to change their battle position or turning to defense at all. So I guess you can't book a moon it. I guess certain cards just won't work on link monsters. They're just going to be immune. That's very interesting. Kind of like the Eidolon. So let's actually go ahead and take the look here again at this field. So it points to these. These are actually linked to the monster yet still on the field, it looks like, is how it's going to work. That's interesting. And then he gets that special monster zone that's not dedicated to either player. Looks like it may be a rush to get to this zone. And again, as we see, the new Pendulum Zones are placed in the back row. And there's actually going to be, I believe, a restriction on how this is going to work. Wow, but that Rebellion has no materials. So it may not be able to do anything as a link up monster. We'll see as we keep reading if we can get more clarification. Alright, you can only use the newly created extra monster zone. You can only use one of them. When the duel begins, neither extra monster zone is considered to belong to a specific player. When a player special summons a monster to one of them, that zone then becomes treated as part of the player's field and the other becomes treated as the other player's field. Wow. The tactic of a duel will change drastically depending on who can grab an extra monster zone first. An extra deck monster can only be summoned to the extra monster zone. Whoa. But if you summon a link monster to one of the extra monster zones first, you can utilize it to its max potential. I think it's saying that this zone here, or the zone that has the link monster, I think it's saying you only extra deck monsters can go there, not only... I think it's not saying, like, you have to extra deck into that zone, I think, because we see on the field there's a Rebellion Dragon behind it. Yeah, extra deck monsters like Fusion, Synchro, XYZ, and Link cannot be summoned to the main monster zone. Beware? Never mind. Wow! Oh, they have changed so much. I wonder how it's, like, behind it then. Oh, man. I guess that's where it's equipped. That's so insane. What has been the monster zone up till now is the main monster zone. The Pendulum Zone is on the left and right of the Spell and Trap Zone, and you can use it as a normal Spell and Trap Zone, but when you place Pendulum cards there, it is treated as the Pendulum Zone. The zones pointed to by link markers can be used to bring out extra deck monsters. Although extra deck monsters can only be summoned to the extra deck zone normally, if you have a link monster in the extra monster zone, the zones pointed to by their link markers can be used to summon extra deck monsters. So there is a way to unlock them. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. So if you get out a link summon quickly, you can bring out Fusion, Synchro, and XYZ monsters in succession. So it's like you have to unlock the extra deck. Wow. Of course you can summon another link monster in one of these zones. Oh, okay, so you can have multiple. So if you play your cards right, you can fill your entire main monster zone with extra deck monsters. The new metagame will require careful consideration where to place monsters. Wow. Super quick Q&A for the new rules. Q, if special summoned an extra deck monster normally and it goes to the graveyard, and I want to special summon it with Monster Reborn, which zone does it go to? We're called the Haunted or whatever. It goes to the main monster zone, not the extra zone. Q, can you use Book of Moon on a Link monster? Q, Link monsters cannot be face down, so you cannot target them with Book of Moon. Question, if your opponent's only monster is in the extra monster zone, can you attack them directly? If there's a monster in the extra monster zone, unless some kind of effect is in play, you would have to attack that monster first. Question, can you destroy 2 set Spell and Trap cards in your leftmost and rightmost Spell and Trap zones with Wavering Eyes? So going to more banned cards. The leftmost and rightmost Spell and Trap zones are regular Spell and Trap zones and do not become Pendulum Zones unless you activate a Pendulum card in them, or if a Pendulum card is placed in them by card effects. A set Spell and Trap in either of those zones cannot be destroyed by Wavering Eyes. So basically saying, if regular Spell and Traps are put in the zones, they are not treated as Pendulum Zones until a Pendulum card is placed in the scale. Very interesting. So many new things happening. Our Pendulum Zones got moved. A new mechanic got announced that's still... Oh, man. Basically, let's go to our other graph here. Okay. If you get a card here, then you can start summoning in here. And also, that's linked to these cards. Very interesting. Wow, so the materials just kind of stay? Huh. And it's a race to get to this zone, it looks like. There's multiple zones, it looks like. There's multiple EX zones, but it's a race to get to the zone, and it's kind of a no man's land, even though it's both players. So, it looks like they're sharing this zone. I wonder if, like, if you claim the zone, it's yours until the monster's cleared. And then it's back to no man's land. There's still questions that I have. But this is really exciting, really new. I'll link you to the entire article. You can decipher as much information from it as you can. Wow, there's so many changes to the game. What do you guys think, and what do you guys feel about this? A, what do you feel about the cards being blue? I actually kind of like it. I figured they'd be running out of good colors soon, and blue was a good one to go to. I don't think it's too confusing with ritual monsters, since A, they'll have no level, and ritual monsters depend on levels, and B, the link also helps it not be confusing. What do you think about the main monster not being a 2500, but an almost automatic, no matter what, 3300, but a base of 23? What do you guys think about Link summoning? Oh man. And what do you guys think about there being 2 ways to do it rather than 1? And what do you guys think about the new extra monster zone where you actually have to you have to summon into there first in order to unlock the rest of your zones for Fusion, Synchro, XYZ, and Link. They did say Pendulum here. So I think you Pendulum summon from hand like normal. I wonder about the extra deck Pendulum monsters too. I don't think that was fully answered in this, but I would assume that to summon your Pendulums from your extra deck, you also need to fill that zone. That's what it sounded like. So maybe Pendulum Summon will... They've already restricted it. Well, they've already checked the Pendulum Mechanic. So insane. Oh, man. Oh, so much is happening. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. It will be linked down below for you. And as always, like the video if you enjoyed it. Link summoning is here. And so is a restriction to the Pendulum Mechanic.